I've now started to get some of the BMW parts through. It's going to enable me to actually start getting this thing put back together. Last time I got the dashboard stripped out and I've got the new one. So far it looks like it's going to fit, but I'm not going to know for sure until I actually get it in there. So that is going to be one of our first jobs. First of all, I need to get the suspension back together, fitted, and get some bottom arms on here and making it look a little bit more like it should. Shock absorber has arrived, so completely knackered the old one, so just swapped over the little rubber boot. The top section on there looks okay, so I'm trying to feed this down, getting it to sit correctly. So there's a little hole on the actual strut that locates the rubber boot at the bottom, and then that will hold in the bottom edge. The only issue that we've then got is that this new rubber boot, the old rubber boot, completely disintegrated. So new rubber boot, and then this top piece can sit on. There's nothing else really then, apart from on the top boot there's a special place for the spring to sit. So that's on, and then it's literally on with our little nut. Again, we need a little special through socket to allow this to tighten up. So we've got a 10mm spanner that goes onto this nut at the top. Put the socket on, put this round, and I can start to tighten this up and then move the spanner around. It's a slow process, don't know whether you can actually sort of see on here. So it's just a little bit at a time. I'm trying to make sure the spring stays in the correct position. So that's just gone as tight as it will do, so that just literally locks up. And it's just a case of making sure that the bottom spring is located correctly and the top part of the spring is located correctly. I think that's somewhere near, and as I undo these now, that should sit all back into place properly. Just do a little bit. Again, hoping that top nut is done up correctly. One done. Two done, and that all looks good. Down to the floor again, give us a bit more space. Again, we can raise the car up if needs be. And then we'll try and feed. Jiggering around in the back of here, and that should line up with the bottom, so that should fit into here. You can see that fully, but our little gap in here is where that should locate, so just making sure that that is correct, and then our top will rotate around, so that's not so bad. Put the jack under. So up the top, as I raise up the bottom, if I can catch the bolts in, located. I'll actually just do those up now. And then hopefully the strut now can start to push back in, and again it's just making sure now this is all lined up. Looks slightly out of position, so it's just now whether I can twist it round, and the back bolt allows you to just make any little final adjustments. I'll try to jack it up now. As you can see, as I jack this up now, it just slots into place. And again, I just need to make sure our little, yep, so that's slotted in nice. And again, we've got a pinch point just about there. So it's about as far as it goes in. This can tighten up now. Get these bolts tightened up. I can fit in this bolt as well now, hopefully. So that should come through. May just have to release a little bit of pressure off. Get it in, but hopefully it goes in nice. This is probably the biggest nightmare that I've had so far, just trying to get this actually undone. And it looks like somebody's had a go at it before, so the actual arm that I'm levering against isn't in the best of shapes as it is. I've put the chisel in, I've lubricated this up, and I'm hoping to try and undo it, but so far it's been a bit of a pain. So next up, we start turning to our attentions to the inside. Now we're going to get the dashboard into place and just make sure that fits. So actually trying to feed this in is awkward to begin with. I've got to try and move our electrical cables through there. We've then got to feed the bottom part of the middle of the dash into place. We've then got a few connectors over on this side that we need to start thinking about getting connected up. Wheel area over and in. Getting the dashboard back in, and by far the most awkward screws are the two at the bottom. Something was just literally just stopping the bottom console and the dashboard connecting together, so got those in now, so that is all pulled together nicely. Our next set of screws to fix into the sort of body of the car is we've got one here, one up here that fixes in, and then we've got one over on this side. I think there was another one over here somewhere. We've got one at the bottom, and that is pretty much all that holds that dashboard into place, and then it's just a case of connecting everything back all up, putting our last little bits in and our other trims on. So that is now our next job, is to get all these back into place and back sort of looking. Our next thing then is going to be connecting up our airbags, and I'm unsure. I don't see if I just connect the airbags, is the crash sensor still active and it's just going to blow the airbags, or has it reset, and unless there's another sort of crash and it senses there's another bit of damage, it's not going to set them off. So I don't know. So I've got another airbag, so I think I'm going to connect that up first and then try that. But then saying that, the roof curtain airbags, which is what's actually missing from up that side, they're connected and they haven't gone off, so I'm presuming that it won't go off, but I'm not sure. I don't know. So let's get this all put back together, and then that's what our test is going to be.
Break my heart and leave me hurt. The next one just gonna do me worse. So if they all no good, I'll just be bad with you. Cause my mother told me as a child, just end up getting burned. And I know the wicked never rest, so I always try my best. But there's some lessons hard for me to learn. Like good boys don't play with bad girls.
Just losing a bit too much light now, but surround around the steering wheel is back together. All of the connections are back together, so just literally pop the steering wheel onto place and bolt that in, and then I think it's time to find out whether the airbag's going to blow up. Basically, that's the best way to put it. So let's get the steering wheel on and let's find out whether these going to blow up when we put the battery on. Screwdriver it in, you pop that up. That will then allow you to remove it. So let's plug this in, pop it in. Just going to let it sort of hang there. Hopefully it's not going to cause any damage. We're going to video that, and I'm going to turn the battery on. I'm going to hope and pray that it doesn't go bang. So wish me luck. Brilliant. So battery's on. So obviously it just knows. We're not going to do anything else. What I do now need to do is disconnect the battery again. I can then reconnect up on the proper airbag. I can put the steering wheel airbag in, and then the airbag that is missing. Have I been scammed with that? Did I get scammed? So the airbag that's missing from there, I've now got. I can plug that in again at the back, and that's got the same sort of connector in. So instead of undoing it properly, they've just literally cut the wires. But again, all I've got to actually do is pop the tab out, and that will come out then. So it's the same connector in the curtain airbag as it is for the dash airbag. So let's get it disconnected. We'll get this in, we'll get the steering wheel airbag on. We'll then look at the fault codes and see whether all the airbag codes have gone, whether I need to clear them, and then whether our light goes out once I've cleared them, if that's what's required. So finally got the passenger side airbag back in. So that's just been wired up. Don't know whether you can see up there, it's a bit dark in here. But that's all back in, so I can try and put the rest of the headlining back into position properly again now. And then hopefully get the trims all back in. Steering wheel airbag to go in, and I can then connect the battery back up and make sure that that looks all okay, and then see whether we can clear all of those airbag warning lights. That will just leave seat belts. So we're going to have to remove the seats, remove the seat belts out, so I don't think I can do that without removing the seat. So that should then let us clear off the seatbelt warning lights, fingers crossed. And when I've scanned this, all it was coming up with was the driver's side seatbelt. So we'll see. I might just do the one, I can unplug it and plug it back in, see whether that clears out then, and then hopefully that is sort of interior back together. Completed the roof sides now, so both top trims and those two front corners. So airbag, this is all tightened up now, so we've got our plug to put in, which just goes in to there, so that'll plug in, and the airbag then will just push back in, and as we push that in, these little clips should push back out of the way and allow that airbag to fall into place. That's where we plug this in, it goes bang in our face. Stand to the side, pull, that's good, and then final push in. So one complete interior. Just got to put the glove box back in, connect up the little last few wires there, and that is everything on the interior then, apart from our seat belts done in. So a couple of connectors for the dashboard, so one dashboard connector, two dashboard connectors that can come over to the side. Wiring gets stuck. Dash complete. As I say, I'm just going to plug each individual seat belt in at the moment and just see whether the faults then disappear off the dashboard, and then we can go back on to concentrating on the outside. So I think next time we'll look to get the front wing back on. We've still got the steering rod from the steering rack to the track rod end, that to go back on. Wheel is now here, so we've just got to refurbish the wheel up slightly, put the tyre on there, that is then done, and then we're looking at a bit of bodywork, headlight repair, so we're waiting for parts on the headlight repair, and that is pretty much hopefully going to get us to the point where we can drive this. So hopefully in the next video we'll be able to get that driven, bit of a test drive and back on the road. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and hopefully we'll be completing the M2 and having it driving.